All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, September 16, 2025 Montgomery Township Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to resume an open session.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to resume an open session. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same right. Any abstentions? Motion carried. Roll call, please, Mr. Taliano.
Dr. Wang?
Here.
Ms. Dowling?
Here.
Spina?
Present.
Ms. Frank Herman?
Present.
Ms. Vilak?
Here.
Ms. Harris?
Here.
Dr. Jernigan?
Here.
Ms. Narga?
Here.
Mr. Todd?
Here.
Thank you.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Please rise as we salute the flag. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll now move to superintendent report and presentation. Superintendent McLaughlin.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a new school year. This month, Montgomery High School is recognized as Unified Champion School, an honor that reflects the incredible spirit and leadership of our students. Through inclusive sports activities and leadership opportunities that bring together students with and without intellectual disabilities, our students are building a culture of respect, understanding, and belonging that we are proud to celebrate. This year's PSAT will be administered during the school day on Tuesday, October 21st. All 10th and 11th grade students are eligible to take the PSAT. As we continue to make the PSAT accessible to all students while providing an opportunity for all 11th grade students to qualify for National Merit Scholarships, Montgomery High School will cover the cost for all 11th grade students taking the PSAT. MHS will run a special delayed opening schedule on October 21st to accommodate the school day PSAT. We welcome all community members to join us at our homecoming football game on Friday, October 3rd to cheer on our student athletes and celebrate the dedication of the Zorin Millage as we proudly name our turf Zorin Millage Field in his honor. UMS is also off to a fantastic start. Thank you to all who joined us at the back to school night, and we hope that you got to see just how wonderful our UMS staff is and feel excited knowing these great people will be teaching your students this year. UMS students had the opportunity to hear the updated personal electronic device procedures, powered down and locked in lockers throughout the day, and are proud to see how they are adjusting. Some are even expressing gratitude. 8th grade Camp Mason trip is right around the corner. Any 8th grade parent, any and all 8th grade parents, please sign up to chaperone and ensure the trip is a great success. At LMS, they're giving thanks for the collective efforts of students, families, and teachers for the 25-26 school year as it launched seamlessly. Students settled in quickly and enjoyed a strong first week and half of the school. We love welcoming the 5th and 6th grade parents to back to school night, where parents and teachers have the opportunity to connect and begin building the invaluable partnerships that will last throughout the year to support student success. On September 11th, the entire school community gathered at the flagpole for a moment of reflection. Together, we spoke with students about courage, honor, loss, sacrifice experienced that day, and emphasized the importance of coming together as a community, just as our nation did, to support and care for one another. The school year at Village Elementary is off to a wonderful start as well. The ES welcomed 9 new, eager, and impressive staff members to the team. Each is fully engaging with the community and making a positive impact. Village Elementary School also welcomed new families to the community during Newcomers Reception, co-hosted by the Montgomery Elementary School PTA. This reception took place during the open house days, during which students and their families visited their classrooms, met their teachers, and toured the building. During the first days of school, Ms. Lacey, Ms. Glover, and classroom teachers rolled out Blazers Belief 2.0, which includes core values, common language, and consistent behavioral expectations. The ES is looking forward to an amazing school year and working with partnering with families. The Orchard Hill Cubs are off and running to begin the 25-26 school year. The primary focus across the school every September is building community within the classroom. Orchard Hill teachers provide the opportunities for students to share about their backgrounds through purposeful games and activities while they get to know our Cubs both as students and citizens. Mr. Van Heis and Ms. Caudle visited the preschool and kindergarten classrooms to talk a bit about the school's core values and their roles in the school, while holding assemblies with first and second grade groups as a whole focused on the importance of upholding the core values in all the different locations. Update on state assessments. In August, the New Jersey Department of Education informed school districts that, in partnership with Cambian Assessment, Inc., CAI, they will be launching the new Student Learning Assessment Adaptive and JSLA Adaptive, and the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment Adaptive, the NJGPA Adaptive, during the 25-26 school year. These assessments will be aligned with the New Jersey Student Learning Standards for ELA and mathematics and are designed to continue to give students the opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge and skills in a meaningful way. The New Jersey Department of Education believes these assessments will reflect an effort to improve the testing experience while maintaining a strong connection to the NJSLS. Our Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Damian Papa, has been working with the administration in providing information about this change. He, along with school testing and technology coordinators, will be participating in training with the New Jersey Department of Education this week about these new tests and will communicate details in the school district community as well as during ACI meeting this Friday. That concludes my report, and now I'm going to call up Miss Fiona Borland, I thought someone else was presenting, to do our presentation on access.
So I'm just here tonight to just do one test, our access test data. So to just begin, as all of our presentations begin on student data, is that you have to have an N size of 10. The New Jersey DOE maintains 10 as its minimum N size for school and district reporting. This is required by the Every Student Succeed Act, by the federal government, and so we report out on the performance of our students in all of our testing areas, and tonight is the access test. So this is the Access 2.0. So the Access 2.0 stands for that assessing comprehension and communication in English state to state for English language learners, and it is given annually to monitor our students' progress in academic English. So this is any of our multilingual education students. They are tested annually on the Access, and then this data is used to both craft their instructional program as well as craft our curriculum and our instructional design. It is anchored in the WIDA standards, and that is all about developing our 4 domains of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It is administered from children from kindergarten all the way through grade 12, as long as the students are in the multilingual education program. This test data is administered between February 2024 and April 2024 as well. Okay, so this is different than a proficiency test in the sense that it's giving students on a scale of where they rank in their skill of speaking and listening and understanding the English language. So it starts with entering, emerging, developing, expanding, bridging, and reaching. So the top there is where our students enter and emerge, and then we get to bridging and reaching. This is district-wide percents, and so, you know, as opposed to the presentation that I'll be coming back with in November, when you're looking for students to continue to develop a specific level of proficiency, this is just really about a snapshot of where are the students that we are serving currently lay in their ability to intake English in the academic setting. And so you can see that most of the students that we're servicing in the school district are in that middle of developing and expanding. And that really, you know, all depends on where they come to us and the experience and the background that they have as they enter the ML program. And then there's always the continued yearly monitoring to continue their growth and to make sure that they're on progress and that they're doing well and that the program is meeting their needs. Again, identifying that we can only report on grades that have that 10 or more. So tonight I can only share the specific breakdown of the access scores in 2 grades. That would be our kindergarten student. These are percentages. So yes, the majority of our kindergarten students do enter at that emerging level because often the first school experience that they're having.
And then you can see, we do have students that go all the way up to bridging. And then in 9th grade, as one might expect with an older student, the majority of the students entering at the developing level and move forward as they go through the high school as well. So some specific things that we do for all of our multilingual education students. They take, actual multilingual education classes with their teachers of multi-language education. These classes are designed specifically to support students with limited English proficiency, as well as students with limited and interrupted formal education. Every single year, the Access Test is used to determine where they fall in their continuum of language learning, and that helps create what is known as the individual student profile. So for every single student, teachers can go in and access their profile, and their profile will tell the teacher where they are in each of those 4 domains and the characteristics of what that means. So what can an emerging learner understand in the classroom? What can a developing, and what's the difference between them? And how should you adjust your instruction and your expectations based on that profile? We've also been targeting teams of teachers in sheltered English instruction. This was designed by our own Alma Reyes, and she has created one of the most robust and rich trainings on all of the science behind language acquisition, as well as the best strategies for implementing instruction in the classroom and to design assessments to match and be able to capture what our students know. Additionally, as students get older, there are extra lab periods to help support that language acquisition as well as academic progress. We also use a fair share of our Title III funds for one-to-one tutoring. And so really making sure this is one of the most effective practices is identifying students who need that additional individual support, and we're able to provide that through our teachers to support core content areas in the after-school hours. Our multilingual education teachers, they work with CLTs and PLCs across the district to visit with them and to share out strategies to help their students be more successful. We have spreadsheets that give teachers ideas of the different curriculum modifications that they can apply to their classroom assignments. We use our STAR 360 platform, both in literacy and math, to be able to get a great gauge on where our students are in gathering their academic skills. And we also make sure that our WIDA standards are aligned, our curriculum is aligned to WIDA standards. So where you would obviously in a social studies class have standards around the content, in addition, the WIDA standards are about how are you going to use the content to develop language, to develop writing, to develop comprehension. So they're very specific. And then to obviously be aligned with the 2024 New Jersey Student Learning Standards as well. And the next administration of the Access Test will be February 2026 through March 2026. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. The high impact tutoring grant that we got, does that come into play here?
There may have been overlaps, because that would make sense. You were definitely not ruled out of participating in the high impact tutoring grant if you were a limited an ELL, an ML student, but it wasn't directly connected to that.
Is there any trend for the percentage of this subgroup of kids? Is it flat, increasing, decreasing? Do you see any trend for this subgroup percentage?
The total number of students in our district?
Yeah, percentage-wise. For this thing, yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm getting your question right, which I still might have to tell you I don't know the answer to at the moment. You're asking, is there an increase in multilingual learners in our school district? I want to give you a soft answer of yes, but I have to tell you I would want to track those numbers for you specifically. They are in the school performance reports. I believe that when I was here doing the NJGPA, I spoke to an increase at the high school of that percentage, but I wouldn't be able to stand here right now and say that that's true across all 5 buildings.
How do you feel overall trends look? I know that the end size for only 2 grade levels was able to be shared, but for how students are, say, progressing through the levels year over year, and then, how many you may see, I don't think they call it this anymore, they don't call it flipped anymore, but you know what I mean. And so how, are you seeing in all 4 domains? Are they jumping levels, or are they really just progressing at a year 1-to-1? It's different for every kid. But
Yeah, I was going to say it's really truly sporadic, right? So that's where you're looking. The number of I actually met with Mrs. Reyes today, and we're speaking about this to feel like I had really good answers for you. It really just depends on where students come in, right? And so students who are coming out of a formal education program in which they are, developmentally on grade level and proficient in their home language, often have an easier time transferring into a new language. If students are a SLIFE student where they've had interrupted formal education, they're going to struggle differently. Personality. There's a period of English acquisition that's just called the silent period, where students are just intaking, and just based on your personality trait, that might be where you stay longer. And so it's just really why the individual profile is so important, and you can't make an assumption on what a kid can do or should be able to do because they're year 3. You really have to look at that individual profile and say, like, what can this student that is in front of me do? And so yes, Ms. Reyes works with her ML teachers, and they track all that data, and they do articulation through the program to make sure that there's a good spiral of skills, but the level of personal and individualized attention is where it really lays.
Thank you.
I just had a question. This tutoring is one-on-one, or few kids in the class who needs extra and they are tutored by the class teacher?
No, so the tutoring that I'm mentioning here is typically one-on-one. So it is recruited by, a posting, recruiting our own academic teachers in content areas who are willing and able to provide access after school, additional tutoring, and then they are partnered with that specific student. The Title III grants, the Title III money can only be used for our multilingual learners and our immigrant population. And so it is not the only thing we do with that money, but it is one of the most effective things that we do with that money.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Ms. Willis. We'll now move to committee representative reports. First up, MTA report, Mr. Rizzoli.
Good evening. The school year is in full effect, and so is the MTEA. We have a lot in the works to continue to support and engage with our community. Last year, our Halloween costume exchange was an extremely popular program, so we're looking to bring that back this year. We're going to be setting up boxes for parents to drop off costumes in each of the main offices, so that if parents have some old costumes, there's ones that they've used over a year that they can't fit into anymore, they want to drop them off, we'll happily take them. We collected so many last year. Then later in October, we'll be able to have that exchange day or two where people can come and pick up a costume. And that usually comes with like a little giveaway, so it's exciting for our students as well. Then also in October, we'll be there for trunk or treat. We'll make sure we're a participant in that. And then one of the most popular things every month was the read aloud, so we're going to try to bring those back this year. Stacey Anderson, our Fast Chair, is working on the grants and book selections to make sure we can host those nights, mostly for our Orchard and Village students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzoli. Do we have any board member, delegate, or representative reports tonight?
I went to the Municipal Alliance and Municipal Youth Service Commission meeting on September 8th. I just wanted to acknowledge the continued partnership between Municipal Alliance and the different organizations and individuals that volunteer in this commission because of the grants that come out of the Municipal Alliance programs like the High School Lunch and Learn, Girls on the Run, the Youth Action Board, and hopefully the Hope Squad will be sponsored by the Municipal Alliance. So we're very grateful and thankful for their support. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Anyone else? Member Harris.
I am the delegate for the PTO, PTA, and PTSA. I was unable to attend the PTSA meeting this past week, but I did attend the other two, PTO and PTA. Two of the biggest themes that I took away was membership. Each organization is really promoting membership and really encouraging families and parents or caregivers to please sign up for membership. That was one thing. The other big topic was the WhatsApp app. There's a communication that a lot of families are a part of, and there's a text chain that goes around, and the big theme was just that these are family-led, not led by the board, the PTA, PTO, or PTSA boards, and that if you're looking for information, it's always best to go to the actual website to check, and those chat chains are not monitored by the board, so just to keep that in mind. And I know this was mentioned, the volunteer opportunities for Kent Mason, Picture Day for LMS and UMS, please families can volunteer. And then there is the PTA Fall Mom Sale until October 1st. You can order your mums. And also there's the opportunity for Village Orchard that you can come and volunteer at lunchtime, parents or caregivers if they're interested. So keep that in mind as well.
Any questions for Board Member Harris? Hearing none, any other board member, delegate, or representative reports this evening? Hearing none, we'll now move to board committee reports. Up first, Assessment, Curriculum, and Instruction Committee, ACI.
We have not met since the last board meeting. Thank you.
Operations, Facilities, and Finance Committee.
Operations, Facilities, and Finance Committee met on September 9th. The meeting opened with staffing updates in the business office. The committee welcomed Adele Valentin to the district as the new Associate Business Administrator. The accounts payable role remains vacant, and Mr. Italiano will continue to cover these responsibilities until a permanent candidate is identified. Planning for the 2026-2027 budget has also been discussed. Mr. Italiano will circulate budget memos in October to guide managers through the budget calendar, staffing reviews, enrollment data, and alignment with the district's strategic plan. Additional finance and facilities updates included scheduling the 2024-25 audit, following the Board of Education auditor selection later this evening, preparing for the CUSAC review on March 3rd, and the BA reported on the recent high school pool failed electrical inspection. Corrective work is underway, and the pool was opened this week. As the new school year begins, the committee emphasized the board's priority that all children in our district are fed and no student sit hungry in the classroom. The discussion focused on the free and reduced lunch program with questions raised about participation rates, state funding, and how students in need are identified when families do not submit applications. To support planning, the committee requested enrollment reports for the past 3 years, along with data on lunch program participation. Members discussed using Back to School Night as an opportunity to better inform parents about the lunch program and other support programs available through schools. Mr. Italiano confirmed that he is monitoring the program closely, and he's working directly with the building administrators to address concerns as they arise. The committee also reviewed health insurance and employee benefits with a presentation from representatives of Brown & Brown. Their update highlighted the drivers of recent cost increases, the implications for the district budget, and coverage considerations. Committee members sought clarity on premium cost compared with actual utilization, as well as the primary factors driving prescription drug expenses. Brown & Brown noted that weight loss drugs were among the leading cost drivers. Members expressed concern about a long-term sustainability of rising healthcare costs in education and stressed the importance of continued monitoring and cost managerial strategies. Any questions?
I have a question. Seems like you guys discussed about the enrollment question at the off meeting, right? And So earlier this year, not earlier, before summer, I had a meeting. I asked about the retention question. So Mary, do you think we can receive a longitudinal report on the retention rate? Oh, can't hear me?
Speak directly into the mic.
Can we receive the retention rate for the past few years, do you think?
So I think what Ms. Filak was referring to was the enrollment of students in the free and reduced lunch program. That's what she was referring to.
Oh, not the total.
Well, we received a report that showed us enrollment by grade for 3 years. And then we also have an outstanding item on number of students enrolled in the free and reduced lunch program per grade. So there are, I guess, like two-part question. One has been already answered, the other one I think I'm still working with Andrew on the second part.
Yeah, so my question is for the total enrollment, right? And I'm asking for the past 5 or 4 years, what's the retention rate of our school? Because we did notice the decrease of the total enrollment from 2022, 4,543 students to this school year's 4,291 students. So that's a loss of more than 250 students in 4 years, about 6% of our enrollment here. So we understand we always have students transfer in, and so that's why we also want to understand what's the retention rate of this school. Do you have that data, or are you willing to share that to public, to the board?
Yeah, I don't understand what you mean by retention. We don't retain
Retention
anyone.
rate means students,
So
whether they continue to enroll in our school district from year to year.
Right, and that's public knowledge. You can go on the state reports.
State reports do not have that. State reports have the total enrollment, but there's no retention rate there. To calculate the retention rate, you need to minus the disenrolled number of students from the
Like we've
students
been
from last year.
graduating classes in the 400s, and we're getting classes in the 100s.
So for example, for grade 9, last year, for example, we have, I'm just making a theoretical example here how to calculate retention, okay? Is, for example, grade 9, we have, last year we have 400 students, and this year 400 students, those veteran students, do they come back? Do they come back to this school year? So if not, let's say 40 students, they did not continue to enroll in our school district, then 400 becomes 330, right? Then the retention rate be 90%. So that's how we call retention rate. At least in the higher education setting, that's how
Right,
we
and
do
in
that.
higher education, when students pay a lot of money for tuition, you have to really be on top of your retention rate. In public schools, students move in and out all the time. Parents' jobs.
Absolutely, and before they move out, the parents need to fill in those forms, right? And I know we talked about that.
I was gonna say, we did this at
So
ACI.
for the numbers are the facts. So can we share that? Oh no, we can't.
We shared them at ACI.
That's not retention. Retention again is called student disenrolled from year to year. What you shared is the total enrollment breakdown by grade. So it's okay if you say you don't want to share. It's okay.
I don't think that I understand what you're looking for. I'm really having a hard time understanding. I can give you the number of students in every grade from the beginning of time to right now if you want, but I don't know, we've been giving that to you and I don't know what it is that you're looking for. Like
Dr.
I
Ryan,
told
is there a
you,
specific
how
state
many kids
report
are in
that has
8th
this
grade
data?
1 year, how many kids are in 8th grade the next year, how many kids are in 9th grade, how many kids are in 9th grade. We have a demographic study that showed that our enrollment was going to go down due to birth rates, and then it was going to go
So
back
the total,
up.
I think the example I gave to you is pretty clear, is how to recalculate retention.
So, just let me interject for a second. So the question is, how does this pertain to OFF? So
Oh,
this
yeah,
sounds
because-
more like an
well, that's-
HCI discussion in
Well,
question.
that's a good question. Actually, I like that question because according to the NJSBA workshop presentation that I went to, so they say roughly every 4 students represent the funding for 1 average teacher salary. So if this decline equals to like in the past 4 school years, we just the numbers, the facts that we talked about, that decline equals to the cost of more than 60 teachers' average salaries. So that's just not the statistics, right? So fewer students means fewer resources, potential cuts to programs, and challenges in keeping our best teachers. And families have choices. So if we're keep losing students while neighboring school districts are holding steadily or growing, then we need to understand why. So that's the question why I'm asking. Is it related to financial? And that's why I'm asking about that. And since 2016, so our total enrollment has declined from 4,203 to right now, we just talked about this year was 4,291. So what do you think about, happening out of neighboring school district? Because we say, okay, maybe their birth rate is going down, every school district is declining. Is that true? So I talked to the website and say, find some facts again, the numbers. It looks like neighboring school districts tell a different story. So for example, Princeton's enrollment has grown up, and Hopewell Valley had remained steadily over the past few years, 5 years. And Hillsborough is increasing, but we're the only school district total enrollment keeps going down. So this is something, the next question would be, why? Can I continue? Yeah, I asked, I don't know, like, we can, okay, so, yeah, that's why I'm asking the retention question, because it's just the neighborhood district telling different stories.
Superintendent McLaughlin, is that information you'll be able to get at a later date?
If we want to at a future meeting, we could bring our most recent demographic study and share that out if we want to. That's data that talks about enrollment trends, household formation in your town, things of that. That's not data that we have at our fingertips or prepared for our agenda tonight. But we can bring our most recent study that was done within the last year, and we can share that.
The demographic study is online.
Yeah.
It's online.
Or you
Then
can
there you
just, or you can just give the total of the disenrolled students from last year to this year.
I don't know that. That's not my lane. I don't know that off the top of my head. I was just trying to offer you a resource that's readily available to answer your questions. Ms. McLaughlin said that report's available online. Board paid for that service. I would start there and then ask questions off of that.
Well, board members are volunteers at the board, right? And if we are asking information, I think I would appreciate more if you directly point to me where, in which report.
I'll send you an email tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to be clear, the retention question was asked at ACI and it was referred over to the Finance Committee because it had questions to, about the financial implications, which is why it was directed to the Finance Committee. But the question was answered in terms of what we do keep data on in terms of retention. Things like, where the student goes next, if they go to public, private, independent. That's the data that we track from year to year.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So what I'm asking is the number of that lump, and I don't see that lump.
So your question has you want to know the financial implications, which is why it should be directed to the Finance Committee.
Yeah, without the count of the disenrolled students information, but we don't know the retention. And all we know is enrollment keeps going down, and while others neighboring school district remaining steady and going up.
Dr. Wang, I want to understand, I understand the retention question you're asking. You're asking, like, if a student started in Montgomery in kindergarten, is that student graduating from 12th grade in Montgomery, or they're leaving Montgomery?
Or they come
right?
back.
or so. I understand that, but I want to know that what are we getting to, what are we assessing by getting this attention?
Yeah, because as I mentioned, if we're losing 4 students, that's equal to 1 average of teacher salaries there, right? So it has budget and finance implementations. And also, if we keep losing students, we were at a school district, like Mary said, 5,000 students before, right? And now we're down close to 4,000. Given this trend, we probably heading down less than 4,000. So then questions also return to what are the programs will disappear? Can we still keep our best teachers here? And I think this is all the questions all in the same page. That's why we should care about this. And also from I'm on the board for this year. So during just my time on the board here, I've heard some concerns about the literacy, math, and science pathways from the higher education faculty. So that's the group letter that's been written to the board, by
Dr. Wang,
faculty.
that has nothing to do with retention. The VA, he
I'm
will
trying-
send you the information tomorrow and
No, I'm
to
trying to
address your further
respond
questions.
to Benita's why we're talking about that. So.
And I've heard back from both Princeton University and Rutgers University, where those professors who signed that letter to the board
Yeah, and
came
they
from.
expand
And
to
they said
the-
absolutely positively they apologized, that they do not represent the university.
They don't represent the university.
They said that in the letter, and that's what
Yes.
you keep saying.
Yes,
They
they don't
do
represent
not
the
represent the
university.
universities.
It's pure from
And they were
private
apologizing that their professors were criticizing our programs out of their league.
The other thing, if you want to talk about the data and the household formation and the enrollment, your enrollment peaked here between 2000 and about 2015. Enrollments in peaks and valleys. Household formation in the United States is down. People are not leaving this town because of these teachers and the education our students get and the success they have. It's because people are having less children. It's across the board. You can look at our ASSA, we'll share the demographic study. You can look at that, and then you can ask the state report question. And that's all I'm going to say.
Actually, I really agree with that. So here is the Princeton enrollment from.
Okay, Princeton enrollment has nothing to do with Montgomery enrollment, Dr. Wang. So he will,
Yeah, we're
we can
talking
go,
about
we can go around this all night.
Absolutely.
He's gonna share some information with you tomorrow, and we will go from there.
Yeah, I
and then ask
appreciate
different
that,
questions.
but I think people want to hear about the facts. Is Princeton
We don't have any more
going
facts
up?
tonight. I'll give you the information
Talk
tomorrow.
about the neighboring. What's happening neighboring?
I really
What-
only care
what
about
action
Montgomery.
agenda
These
items
teachers,
does this
these
have to
kids,
do?
this
Because
school, that's
we're
all I
still-
care about.
We haven't even gotten
It
to
doesn't impact us.
things that we need to do yet. Can we please move on, and then if you have more to say, you can
No,
say it.
move on.
We can say it at the end.
All right, thank you. Policy and Communications Committee.
So I just wanted to say that this is the forum for the board to have a discussion, so I hope we're open-minded and continue having discussion during the board meeting. Couple of items that I wanted to highlight around policy. We've updated quite a few policies in this meeting. One of them is statutory curricular requirements, which is a mandatory policy number 2422. As a lot of you are aware, the United States Supreme Court released a decision in regards to a case where the parental rights question came into play around religious rights. How do they exercise those religious rights? So our administration is working on the opt-out options, reviewing some additional expansion for those parents that might not feel comfortable with some of the curricula that is being shared with their children. So this is one of those actions that I believe is taking place right now. Policy 5200 is an attendance policy. That particular policy focuses on the fact that within the New Jersey state guidelines, there are specific dates that are allotted for absences. Anything outside of those dates is scrutinized by the school, can be accepted as excused or non-excused. But as far as review of the policies and the absences, I think we did have a little bit of a chronic absentee issue here and across New Jersey. So the state is really focused on reviewing those absences. So something to keep in mind. We had an extensive conversation during the policy session where Mary is looking to bring some clarity next year, during the next school year, around what those absences mean and how the parents should comprehend some of the guidelines that have been imposed on us. Also, an interesting one, which is also mandated for parents with schools, with kids in the school, is student sun protection. That has been mandated by the state, all the things that are important. Also, one big one that I think our parents have been discussing over the last year is the electronic communication devices. Mary briefly mentioned at the beginning of the meeting today that the administration has put in place some more rigorous rules in high school around maintaining the devices during personal time, not necessarily during class time. So I think, speaking as a parent, I think parents are probably happy about it, not sure about the kids. The other few changes just in the policy on food services and budget preparation, just updates to those that highlight some of the regulation changes. So nothing other major. One thing I do want to highlight, and Cookie, you weren't able to join us for communication, but I hope some of you are happy about the MTSD website. The website has been revamped. I know myself, I've enjoyed it very much. It has a very modern look, very easy way to access information. There's a lot of updates at the bottom of the website. You just have to keep scrolling. That was my learning. But information is now more readily available. There's e-news on there, so you can have the latest news on what's going on in each one of the school districts. It is still undergoing some tweaks, but I personally am very happy with the way this looks. So hopefully you are as well. And I think we did also discuss some of the asks that came from the policies, and I know Mary was meeting with the principals, so I'm sure a lot of you already heard all about it. But overall, some new changes, some tweaks. I think the biggest one is really around the changes in the statutory curricula, which is policy 2422. So I would encourage you to just review it, and if you have any concerns or questions, the administration is here to help. Thank you.
Any questions?
No question, but I want to thank you all for considering moving the meeting to the afternoon, because it's really difficult to get the 8:30 for work purposes, so 3 o'clock works for me.
Ditto to that. Thank you very much for accommodating that. Appreciate it.
I just wanted clarity when you were talking about the opt-out. Did the committee talk at length? Because I know that that's come up quite a few times in terms of concerns. Do you feel as a committee that you had enough discussion around that and that the idea of expanding it and moving it forward is going to be satisfactory to our parent community?
I mean, it's to be seen. I would presume the community will provide some additional feedback. I did hear from some parents that are taking advantage of those discussions. I know our teachers have been very cooperative in having those conversations. The only challenge I gave Mary is to give us a clear sense of how those kids will be handled, right? So it's not just the health curriculum where we could send them to play in another gym class, right? Here you are in the middle of your curriculum. Mary doesn't show a lot of concern. She says there's not a lot of topics being covered. If they're one-offs, that the teachers will be able to handle it. So I guess it's to be seen, but I'm hopeful that there will be process in place that will handle the kids appropriately.
Great, thank you.
And I know the young kids' parents would really want to hear about the absent policy. Mary, do you want to address a little bit for that policy discussion?
So the only change to the attendance policy for this reading for this time is adding an additional state excused absence. I think some of the confusion that parents have might be with whether or not Montgomery Township calls something excused. Doesn't really matter. So that's where we're going to have some more clarity for next year. We're going to work on it in the spring for next year. All the state is concerned about, like every child has a New Jersey student identification number, an NJSID, and that their number, every time they're just not in the classroom, is marked, unless it is a state excuse absence. If it's a state excuse absence, their denominator changes. So if they miss one day, for a religious holiday, they would have 179 days over 179 days. So as far as the state is concerned, they're not absent. They have perfect attendance. If they go to the doctor or they're sick, which happens, it just comes off the numerator, and so it gets reported to the state that way. So chronic absences, so it doesn't matter. So I think that the clarity is we're calling things excused, and for those purposes, it's because we know that the child is verified. We know that the child is not run away or truant. It's for purposes of at the high school when students actually can lose credit in their classes, and we know that the child actually had the flu or the child was sick, and that does matter to us, but it doesn't matter to the state of New Jersey. They're still absent whatever amount of days they're not sitting in the seat. That's not a state excuse absence. But we'll have changes to the policy for next school year, because this one little minor change that came from the state came after we already had sent out all of our Genesis information and parents read the policy. So the only change in the current policy is just adding one more state excused absence, and it's for a civic event if a child attends.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to Human Resources Committee. Two items that I can share is Assistant Superintendent Kelly Mattis spoke on the fill rate for teaching staff. Very few openings at the beginning of the school year, which is a testament to the retention of teachers and staff in the district. We also talked about the 25-26 tuition reimbursement rate. She explained that the number is based on the cost per credit posted at New Jersey universities and colleges as of August 6, 2025, and it's calculated by taking the average of the highest and lowest credit rate. And that is all. Any questions? Hearing none. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 26, 2025 executive session and August 26, 2025 business meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Same right. Abstentions?
I'm going to abstain. I was absent.
Motion carries. This time the board acknowledges correspondence to the board. Action agenda items, public comment. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to address the board regarding the action agenda items only for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both in the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather are offered as opportunities for the public to share their thoughts with the board. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if the issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually starting at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session. Action agenda item, public comment is now open. And we do ask that you do state the action agenda item number that you were speaking about.
Hi, good evening. I'm going to wait for my guest here to type in.
Mr. Delgado, what action agenda item?
Yeah, I'm going to wait for Ms. Hoffman to stop. Can we stop the clock? Is that a timeout? Timeout. Stop the clock. We didn't break the huddle yet. Okay, thank you. Okay, come on up, Chris. Okay, so Corey Delgado and Chris Hoffman will introduce herself in a minute. We are speaking to action item 3.5. We're so happy that the Hope Squad program has made its way to the board agenda tonight. I have been in my current position as the director of counseling and wellness in the district for a couple of years. I was charged with, when I got here, taking a look at our programming and doing very intentional work about bringing in some more preventative, proactive programming. We're amazing at triage and reaction, but in the height of this mental wellness epidemic that we're experiencing, not just here in Montgomery, but across the country, we have been conducting an ongoing search for more preventative programs that would be a good fit for our district. We were really fortunate to meet Ms. Hoffman and her sister in this past winter to introduce to us the idea of the Hope Squad, and I was thrilled to see Chris here and her parents, the Day family, were here. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris and let her tell you a little bit more about the program and why we think it is going to be an amazing enhancement to the environment in our schools.
Thank you.
Did she get a fresh three?
Yes.
Clock management. Clock management.
Thank you. I'm going to do my best to do this without getting emotional. So the Hope Squad is really important to my family. I'm going to give you just a real quick reason why. My niece Jordan, who is my sister's oldest daughter, is a very sweet, caring, loving young woman. She was bright. She started her own business when she was in high school. She continued in college. She actually did all of the social media presence for PJ's Pancake House as a freshman and sophomore in college. At the beginning of her junior year at Rutgers, she was admitted to the business school. Everything seemed great, and then it just wasn't. And things changed very quickly, and my sister did everything she could. She had no idea where to go, what to do, and unfortunately we lost my niece. It's been almost 3 years since she passed, and in the grief and trying to kind of come with that, we discovered Hope Squad. And the program is just amazing. It is a research-based program. It has a decade of research behind it, of positive impacts on schools. One of the great things about Hope Squad as opposed to other programs is it's not just suicide prevention. It is about total mental health. The program encompasses self-care. It encompasses setting boundaries and making good choices. And the best way I can think of it is in the elementary schools, we have the buddy bench, where if somebody needs a friend, they sit on the buddy bench and someone else goes over and asks them to join. This is the buddy bench for the older kids. These students are empowered to not become counselors. They are not there to fix the problem for the other student. They're there to recognize that there is something different. They're there to recognize that there is a change in another student. And they are taught how to be compassionate, how to reach out to that student, and then bring that student to the advisor, who is the adult who is then able to take care of that situation. Sorry, I have all my notes and I'm trying to keep myself together. One of the important things too is it's like I said, a QPR program. So it's question, persuade, and refer. So the students are not solving it. We're not asking them to be counselors. We're not asking them to take on any of that. That's not their job. Their job is to just see what's going on around them and get them that help. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm just really excited that this is finally coming up to the board. It's obviously very near and dear to me. I do have 2 children of my own in the district, one in high school and one in middle school, and I have 2 nephews in the district. And just the idea that my children might have the opportunity to be part of this program, whether as a Hope Squad member or just being part of the school community that is going to be getting these resources, is just very important to me. So I know for my time. Thank you.
I had a minute left, so I'm just going to take 30 seconds of that. So thank you, Chris, for sharing your story, and Day family for sharing your story and bringing this program to us. And something else that's important to know, this fits squarely within our strategic plan. Our strategic plan goal 3 is about supporting the wellness of our students, and it also is fully funded for the first 2 years of the program. So we have 2 years to ensure that it's a fit, to customize it, to fit our schools and our students. And we do have some plans to sustain it financially going forward that we have proposed. So thank you again for your consideration, and thank you again to the Hoffman Day family. We appreciate you.
Heather Pinavidi, Principal, Montgomery High School. I'm also going to be talking about 3.5 from a little bit of a different perspective. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to be composed as I do it. I am extremely excited that we are bringing this program to our district. And I will tell you that I was hesitant at first because talking about suicide and bringing in resources is something that I'm extremely careful about because uniquely, I have had I don't know what to call it, the unique position of standing in front of my students and my staff, not once, but twice, as I watched the school get turned into a funeral home because we lost 2 students to suicide. There is nothing that prepares you for that. There is nothing that prepares you for that moment that you receive that phone call and you know you have information that is going to change everything for everyone. There's nothing that prepares you to walk into those classrooms with the empty seat and try to navigate as students ask why or blame themselves. There's nothing that prepares you for standing next to that parent at that funeral when they hold on to you. We have to do everything we can all the time to protect our kids. We're not asking them to be counselors. We're asking them to take direction from each other, know when someone is hurting, and get them to help. And that's what we ask them to do every day. We're just giving them the resources now. So I am excited about it. Uniquely, this coincided with something a little personal for me. I got a phone call from my son's school, my 12-year-old who was in 6th grade last year, as he was selected by his peers to be part of the inaugural Hope Squad in Robbinsville. So that was an interesting moment for me as I was wrestling with, does the data tell me everything that I want to see in the curriculum here to match my students? And is this something that I want my son to be a part of as well? And when we looked at it as a family and I talked to my son about what it means to him, the answer was an overwhelming yes. I think the most startling statistic that was shared when I watched the Hope Squad present in Robbinsville was it's often the kids that are out in front doing all the right things, the ones that capture everybody's attention, that are charismatic, that are leading, that we lose. And I've got a building of 1,600 of them. And there's not a single day that that is not lost on me. So I am thrilled to provide them with every resource. And this one's going to be a home run. Thank you.
Let's testify. Good evening, Jen Riddell, APSMT. First, we're all very excited about agenda item 1.6. Coach Millich is so very deserving of the field dedication, and we're all excited to attend the big ceremony after tonight's approval. Many of us are here because of the agenda items under Curriculum Instruction 2.2 and Facilities and Finance 3.7. Last month's debacle around the approval of curriculum revisions has us concerned for tonight's C&I items. IDE Core is on the agenda this evening, just as it was last month. IDE Core won the RFP for a citation we received from the state. Grant funds paid for it, yet you voted it down, saying you don't have the information. But you do, and you did then as well. It was constantly discussed in ACI and part of the ACI public report, repeatedly. So why are you personally taking away from our instruction? The district needs this item to go through tonight. The commentary at the board table around the audit over the past couple of months is another area of concern as it's on the agenda tonight. Something seems off with the push for one auditor over another. There is concern that, again, personal agendas will influence votes. So there's caution there. School board's governance 1, 2, and 3 that you all had to attend trained board members about how it's unethical to use the board for your personal interest. Only one board member, Mrs. Dowling, asked her fellow board members why they were challenging the experts, questioning what evidence is the board referencing that says we should say no to the curriculum agendas
that our state standards aligned. Yet it continues. A letter referencing faculty at Princeton University and Rutgers University was used during the curriculum agenda discussion last month and just a few minutes ago. You said the faculty say that Montgomery is not doing right by the students in the areas of math and science. So interesting where these letters are coming from, where certain speakers at these meetings are coming from, personal agendas. We had to reach out to those institutions and ask if this is true. Of course the answer was no. In fact, Rutgers said, Montgomery stands among the top public schools. We are grateful for their efforts and dedication of your faculty and staff. And Princeton University said, those comments are not university concerns. They are personal. These personal agendas, aside from being unethical, they are stopping the certificated educators from doing what is best for students. School Boards was here in March. They reviewed with you that you cannot use the board table as a means to get your personal agenda accomplished. Voting with only your personal agenda in mind is not fair to our students, our staff, and our community.
Any other action agenda item comments from the public? Hearing none, action agenda item public comment is now closed. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept agenda items 1.1 through 4.4.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adopt action agenda items 1.1 through 4.4. Any questions on the motion?
I have a question. I have a question about agenda item 3.9. So we had a discussion about what a good governance means in our district. We have an audit firm that has been servicing us for over 20 years. In an organization that prides themselves on good governance, it's a good practice to change auditors periodically. Because when you do that, you bring a fresh set of eyes, and that fresh set of eyes will be able to just bring different feedback. It will provide different resources. It will provide an opportunity to look at processes, internal controls, and even open opportunities for professional development to the administration that before they did not have. So our recent audit report highlighted that there were some findings that resulted from a weakness in our in our internal controls. There were some processes that were not followed. They related to federal grants, which we need to be super careful about. So that auditor, because probably they were so comfortable, they did not discover that trend, even though it's been in our district happening for more than 1 year. So we asked for the RFP to maybe see if there is another firm that we can bring in. And we had a response from another firm that has significantly more resources to offer than our current auditor. That audit firm prides themselves and the reputation is that they work very closely with administration to review the processes, the internal controls, and their audit is structured in a way that allows our business administrator, our superintendent, to have more confidence that when they do the daily work, when they oversee the daily transactions, everything is working. And if something is not working, those controls will catch it. And that audit firm, based on the information that is available on the internet about them, they actually follow up. If there is a finding, they follow up, they provide training, and they work very closely with administration to make sure that never ever happens again. In addition, the new auditor is affiliated with the accounting firm BDO, which is kind of like a public, well, it is a public accounting firm, smaller than Big Four. But that partnership, that alliance, means that they will have access and they will have resources that will be available to our BA and his staff to receive high-quality professional development. So when we got the RFPs, we got 2 RFPs. One came from the current auditor, and the other one came from the new firm that put the bid in. And the difference in price at first is $30,000, $35,000, but the difference comes from the time dedicated to the engagement. The current auditor will basically do the bare minimum compliance audit just to issue our financial statements. I asked them in the past whether or not they do spend any time on review of the internal controls, and they said this is not in their budget. They only do whatever is mandatory to issue the financial statements. The other firm does the audit the way any other audited firm that I've worked with would do it. So basically they have a design of the internal controls, and then based on that design they made a selection. So it's not as random as it would seem. It's very strategic, and this is why they allocate much more time to the audit. So I would like to vote. I would like the board to vote, and instead of voting in the same audit firm, I would like to vote on the other RFP and bring a new auditor in. And the reason for that is because not only we have responsibility to the district, we have responsibility to this town, and we also have a responsibility to our staff. So by bringing in this new firm, we would be giving them tools and much higher quality resources to do the work, to improve the internal controls, to make sure that the POs are properly issued, that there are no issues with how they are being approved. And also when they need to look for experts to consult, or when they're looking for professional development, that firm will be able to give them what they need. At the moment, we're not doing that for them. So I would like to ask the board to consider supporting me in voting for the new auditor, because in my view, that will be a greatest benefit to our district and really a great resource for Andrew. Thank you.
Any other items for discussion? Any other agenda items for discussion?
This is my first time. I appreciate 3 of them presented the Hope Squad program.
Please speak into the mic, please.
Yeah, 3.5. Yes, I really appreciate them coming here and talk about the whole squad program. And because because we haven't had ACI since June, and I believe Mr. Corey presented some wellness check information at the ACI before. So I wonder whether we can table this item and have a discussion at ACI, because I believe it would be good to have a chance that the community to know about this and give them some time to react on this too. So,
May I just say something about that? Just about the fact that
that's just my recommendation. Yes, you can go ahead.
I just would like to say that this was brought forth to ACI before you were elected as a board member, and while I was still on ACI, and we discussed it and had wonderful presentations given to us to talk about what a comprehensive program this would be and how it would strengthen all of the mental health and the whole child perspective that we so much would like to do. In fact, as I was reading through the agenda this month, making my notes, I was so excited. I said, I was exiting ACI when Hope Squad was first introduced, but this is a program that is peer-to-peer with training. I can't wait to see what our teachers and our advisors can do, and I look forward to hearing about the successes and supporting this year and beyond. That's what I want to say about Hope Squad. Also that it is being paid for not through taxpayer funding at this moment, so it does not have any financial implications on our boards, because I know you keep tying those things, and I just want to make sure that that is also understood.
So if I may add to it, I mean, it's not fair for the new board member to vote on something that was discussed in the past, but I think that what would be great to hear, and we hear that there was already a lot of great presentation by this particular organization. If I look up just the organization, the CDC notably talks about that there's not enough data gathered yet on this particular program. One area that I really am concerned about is the area where CDC talks about the stress that it takes on the students that participate in the program. So I think maybe tabling this particular item would be more appropriate, so we can really dive into some of the additional information and review that.
I'd like to disagree with tabling the item. I'm just saying that I would like to go ahead and vote on the item for a number of reasons, because the Municipal Alliance is waiting to find out what we're going to be doing here, as they're granting us the funding to start this. Also, I just want to say that the conversations that happen between peers when one student, one child, one kid is going through any type of mental health, anything, they're talking to each other, and sometimes the receiving child doesn't really know how to respond. And having something like this that is going to give that language, that structure around what to do when you think that someone just might not be okay, how to ask in that way. I am not the person to train. I could, teach in 6th grade math, but those mental health professionals that are there, that are working with our professionals to train, then to pass that on to our students, I think that those conversations are going to happen anyway. I would like to get them the training.
I understand your excitement.
It's not excitement.
Excitement. I just want to have a fair chance for me to, dive a little bit more about this program. Or because I actually reach out to some colleagues too, and the theoretical framework, everything is good. I just want to have a chance that I can ask questions at the ACI. But I don't kind of understand the eagerness or urgentness to we have to vote tonight, why we cannot, because we're going to have ACI soon. And
I think it's a valid point that you weren't around, and I actually was not on ACI either, but I think we also have to leverage the idea that we have to trust our peers as a board of who came before us and the conversations that they had and the trust that they had in what they heard. So I trust that my colleague heard this presentation, felt that this presentation was worthy and has moved it forward, because if not, we're going to continue to have the same exact conversations from year to year to year to year, and we're never going to move anything forward. So I think we have to also be very careful about trusting what happened before us and having a little faith in that.
No, it's fair, and I think that, I just want to read to you guys what CDC is saying, right? So at this point, Hope Squad often focuses more narrowly on peer support, awareness, referrals, and stigma reduction, but might not sufficiently address other underlying risk factors like mental health care access, trauma, bullying, or family environment. Another big part that CDC is concerned about is some concern exists that putting students in peer helper, gatekeeper roles could cause stress or burnout. Through existing data often shows burnout low burnout that concerns is raised as something to definitely monitor. So I think we have a responsibility to really lay out a plan, right, and understand what that plan is prior to approving something that's going to have such a huge impact on our students. So I would like to table it so we have a little bit more time to assess.
I also don't want to have this conversation. I want to be able to vote on this program. First, whatever the CDC has on its platform right now is questionable. And second, the Hope Squad program is trying to instill a culture of care among the students and to destigmatize mental health. So I think it's important for us to have that in school. And it's a free program for 2 years. I trust our professionals that they have reviewed the program and they know what the students need.
So just one more comment, Mary, and I just want us to all be clear on this, right? This is not about trust or no trust, right? This is a big burden we're putting on our students, and I think from a parent perspective, and I think Heather even mentioned that the students that were mostly highlighted in the presentation that was given to her school district were the students sitting in front that were charismatic on all of those things. I'm not sure what the training for the students that are supposed to be the peers look like, but are those the peers that will be aligned with the most charismatic and outgoing students, right? So I want us to go with it with the eyes wide open to make sure that we understand what we're asking of our kids and that we're going to have a plan to see whether we're seeing the results that we expect, to assess the information, and as we go through this again next year, that we have some clear data that says this is, really working for us or not working for us. But I do want to do some due diligence to understand how even the students will be picked, what kind of students.
Right, they have to have their parents' approval.
Are we saying that the school hasn't gone?
One at a time, please, one at a time.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Are we saying that the school hasn't gone through that due diligence? I mean, again, that's their role, right? If they're bringing this forward, I need to assume and trust that they have gone through all of that. Why would they put this program in place if they didn't feel it was going to be valuable to the students?
All I'm asking is that some of us haven't had a chance to review that data, right? So tabling it allows us to have that level of conversation.
What is the harm in approving it tonight? They're not going to do it and implement it tomorrow. We can still have their conversations.
Eyes wide open, we all have a vote. I'm just putting some ideas on the table. You feel free to vote however you please.
Any other discussion items?
We got some information about this Hope Squad. 22 schools have implemented this. 22 schools in New Jersey. Sounds a small number right now. I'm not saying this program is not good or anything, but we can see some more schools getting on it and see, and how it is affecting. But only because it involves students. That's the only concern I have. And 22 schools have implemented, that's great, but we would like to see, more data on it. How are those schools doing? And that would be a good idea for us to get involved with something like that. That's my opinion.
And for those 20 schools you mentioned, how many of them are high achieving schools similar to ours?
Please, thank you.
So this is.
Please show some
this is
respect to the
my
board,
party
please. Thank you.
member will have to discuss, right? So I would prefer.
What's the stereotype on that? Honestly, like, let's just call it out.
I guess it was just to ask any question and don't criticize the right of another board member to ask the question.
When you're asking about
I'm not asking about you. That's the question. I want to have a discussion at the ACI.
So this is a discussion. Go ahead.
When you're asking about if those schools are high-achieving schools, if the answer is yes, what does that give you?
That's what just talking about. Montgomery is just high achieving school. I'm just cite what the audience said.
Okay, if the answer is no, what
I don't
information
know.
does that give you?
I don't know. That's why we're having discussion.
All of the students,
I
whether
don't
they're
know
high
I
achieving or
have
low achieving,
enough
whether they come
information
from
to
Montgomery
vote.
or somewhere
Okay, that's
else,
fine.
Yes,
deserve.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to adopt agenda items 1.1 through 4.4. Are there any other discussions?
There is one for the IDE 2.2. So I think Mary responded to that. And actually, thank you for the clarification, the context regarding the RFP process and all the state mandates and funding sources. So I understand the current contract focuses on professional development for teachers on the building internal capacity. That said, I still think it's essential we should examine the student performance outcome to truly understand the impact. And I also recognize the multiple initiatives you mentioned, the literacy coaching, math coaching, new curriculum resources, contribute to the student achievement. So reviewing the longitudinal data before and after the UDI implementation, I think will provide the board and community with a much clearer picture of how this strategy is both collectively and individually affecting student growth. So importantly, I think we should not overlook the educators' practices. So for example, a summary of what practices UDI targeted, what have been implemented successfully in those practices, what still have room for improvement. By examining both educators' implementation and student outcomes, I think we can more accurately assess the effectiveness of the UDL and other initiatives. So as you mentioned, this investment has been in place for about 4 years. So I don't know if the board has provided with any reports or data or evidence of the impact. We should be seeing at minimum the summary of the indicators of implementations before and after that implementation, and student academic performance trends in literacy and math, or behavior data aligned with it. So I think such analysis and reports and summary would help us as a board to validate the effectiveness of the investment and guide how we sustain and scale best practices going forward. So I want to emphasize I've been asking for this evidence and outcome for a while. Despite raising the issues multiple times, I don't see new evidence or reports have been shared. So I believe publicly funded investment deserve clear reports and deliverables that reflect measurable impact on student performance, as this is directly tied to our district goal 1. We pay a lot of money to testing and support professional development, yet our school district has not shared a longitudinal chart of literacy and math performance in the benchmark assessment. I think this raises a question of accountability. So I think the request is simple, let the data speak. So without transparency, without evidence of student growth, I really can't, in good conscience, to vote on this agenda item. So I would like to recommend we table this until school district can provide a summary of reports, evidence for this outcome to this board as I recommended.
Any other items for discussion? Hearing none, roll call please, Mr. Kellyana.
Well,
Dr.
should we make the motion prior to making a roll call?
If you would like to make a motion,
I would recommend we
it
make
has to be in a motion form.
I would like to make a motion to table items 3.5 and 2.2.
Is there a second?
Second.
The properly moved and seconded to table items 2.2 and 3.5. Roll call, please, Mr. Taliano.
All right, just to clarify, the roll call is to table 2.2 and 3.5 already, correct? Okay. Dr. Wang?
Yes.
Ms. Dowd?
No.
Ms. Smina?
No.
Director Herman?
I cannot vote for 2.2, but no on 3.5.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Filak?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm so eager.
It's all right. I know you're right. Ms. Filak?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
No.
Ms. Walker-Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Norgan?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
No.
Okay, so the first item, 2.2, that was 4-4 and an abstention. So, Robert,
So that would
what do we
fail.
do with that right there?
If the motion fails, it doesn't have a majority.
Right, so that there is a fail. And on 3.5, so 2.2 does not carry.
The table. So you get the announcement.
So 3.5, so where these items are tabled. No, 2.2 is.
No, because there's no majority.
The motion
Isn't that what represents? So, I'm sorry.
The motion to table fails.
So the motion fails because it's not a majority. So 2.2 is going to stay. And then the other one passed. Okay.
The other one did not. The other one did not.
So here you go.
So if there's not a majority, say 5 people voted no.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is they stay.
Correct.
On the agenda, yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Thank you. We have to make it acceptable. So, based on the vote, both items stay on the agenda.
Thank you for the clarification. So now we'll have roll call on items 1.1 through 4.4.
Can I ask one more question? How do we handle the auditor item, the 3.9?
I'll speak to that one, and then if there's any feedback we can add. Per board policy, the board agenda is set by the superintendent and board president. You could only put one company on at the time. The agenda was set. We will do a roll call on the agenda that's set. If a certain motion doesn't pass, then it doesn't pass, and then we could add the additional firm on if the first one doesn't pass, but the agenda has been set. So that's how I believe we would proceed to go forward.
That's correct.
Yeah, unless there's a motion to amend the agenda to change the firm. I mean, that would be possible, but it's two different ways of getting to the same place.
So I was going to proceed by the board, the president and superintendent, set the agenda, take the roll call vote, see how the roll call vote goes, and then proceed from there.
I would like to make a motion then. I would like to make a motion to make amendments to the agenda and replace the current auditor, which at HFA. 3.9. So the 3.9 would be amended.
Please restate your motion. Restate.
Restate? Yes. I would like to make a motion to amend agenda item 3.9 and replace Suplee, Clooney and Company with Holman, Frenia, Allison, PC.
Is there a second?
Second.
The properly moved and second to amend agenda item 3.9 with removing Simply Cooney and replacing with
HFA HFA.
HFA.
of Lakewood, New Jersey. So we would need 5 votes of a yes to change the agenda from the original auditing firm to the second auditing firm. To clarify, we'll start with you, Dr. Wagner.
No, first of all.
Yes.
Yeah, no, any questions on the motion?
Can I ask a
Yes.
question?
Yes, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Board Member Filak, may I ask you a clarification question? So, when you were talking about the auditor, you had mentioned, aside from the processing issue that we discussed and we dealt with last year, you said that there were federal issues that were not done.
The last year was related to the federal grant, and then in the past, there were some other weaknesses, internal controls that should have been caught if the audit was properly designed.
So, I was going to say, I'm going to just help out a little bit of that with the neutral stance. All of our audits are online, NJ DOE Finance. You can take a look at our annual reports, management report. Each year, you've had a lot of business administrators here in the last couple of years. You have a 4 to 6 week audit. It's pretty extensive. There's recommendations here and there from some of your more junior business administrators, senior ones, there to help out. The one with the federal grants, we're not at any risk of losing them. They weren't completely spent down or coded properly. We didn't lose any money. It was a recommendation on bookkeeping. There's a lot of turnover in the business office. It's something I have experience with. I'm not going to get a recommendation for. Most important thing that you're going to look for in your audit report, in my opinion, for what it's worth, I've been doing this 21 years, is if you have significant weaknesses that are intentional mistakes, fraud, things that are going to lose funding, things of that nature. This district doesn't have anything of that nature. So, all in all, even with the turnover that you've had in this office, your audit reports have standard, what I would call housekeeping items, but nothing that's going to make you be at risk of losing your grants or have any state monitoring. So that's just kind of food for thought for the point that you just brought up.
Thank you, because I don't know enough about this side of the house.
And it's all public document. Everything I said, you can verify yourself. Don't take my word.
Can you be specific about the internal, you said internal, what's that phrase you said? Internal
controls.
Internal weaknesses?
Yes.
Is this what?
No, there was another incident where the purchase orders were not properly processed, and the authorization clearly did not follow the procedures in place.
Let me ask the question, what fiscal year was that from? What audit? And what audit recommendation number are you referring to? Just to deal in facts.
Well, just because there was no, well, that's my whole point, because that auditor did not catch it.
But you caught it?
No, he did not catch it. It was the DA that caught it. It was discussed. And unfortunately, I cannot really reveal too much.
That I understand.
So, you know clearly what instance I'm talking about, and I'm not really sure why you're pushing me for more information that you know that I cannot really, really
That's understood.
that.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Any other questions on the motion? Roll call, please, on the motion.
Okay.
Just to restating the motion. Restating the motion. Board Member Filak has made a motion and has been seconded to amend agenda item 3.9 to remove the current order and appoint a new order.
Correct. 5 votes a yes would change the agenda. Dr. Wagner.
Yes.
Ms.
I'm
Dowling.
sorry, I missed what you said.
Okay, so we're voting on the motion that Ms. Filak brought to the floor to change the auditing firm that's on the agenda.
Thank you.
To the other auditing firm. 5 yeses would change the agenda.
Got it, thank you.
Before that, can I ask a question?
Clarify. Go ahead.
What will happen with the auditing if, say, if this motion passes and then we need to do the auditing? Auditors are coming next month.
I'll answer your question based on statute. By statute, 5 months after June 30th, an audit has to be conducted and completed by November 30th, so it can be reported statutorily the first week in December. So we're a little late in the game to not have an auditing firm. So essentially, if we don't have an auditing firm, schedule an audit and have this done, we'll likely be out of compliance with the state of New Jersey. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Dallin?
No.
Ms. Spina?
No.
Franklin Herman?
No.
Ms. Filak?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
No.
Ms. Welke Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Nargo?
No.
Mr. Todd?
No.
Thank you. Based on the vote, the agenda is going to stay as is.
Thank you. Now, we will resume to voting on action agenda items 1.1 through 4.4. Roll call, please.
Dr. Wang?
It is roll call or voting now?
So no, I was just working with Ms. Valentine to let her know how our vote works, because we sometimes kind of have like abstentions and things of that nature. We're voting on the agenda as is, 1.1 through 4.4.
Oh, okay. Abstain 2.2, 3.5, 3.9.
2.2, 3.5, 3.9. Yes for everything else?
Yes for everything else.
Thank you. Ms. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Spina?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin Herman?
Abstain 1.5, 2.2, and all 4. Yes to everything else.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Filak?
I abstain from 3.4B, 3.5, and I vote no on 3.9, and the part of 3.7 that lists Supli Cooley and Company. Other items, yes.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Harris?
Abstain 2.2 and 4.0 personnel.
Yes to everything else?
Yes, sorry, yes to everything.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Welke Jernigan?
I will abstain from 3.4C. I vote no on 3.9. Abstain from 3.5. And that's all.
Okay. Noted. Thank you. Yes to everything else. Yes to everything else?
Yes to everything else.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Nargo?
Abstain from 3.5. Yes to it.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Okay, let us tally that for a second. Okay, motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you. New business from the public. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Thank you. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to bring any new business to the board for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both on the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any potential liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if the issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually started at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session.
Tori Hillock, 6 Fontaine Lane, Skillman. Good evening. My name is Tori Hillock. I am a graduate of this district, a resident of this town, and a former special education teacher at Village Elementary School. The school year has started, but our teachers and staff are working under an expired contract, and this board is responsible. This is not oversight. This is a failure of leadership. You demand excellence from staff every day, yet you refuse to provide them with the most basic respect, a fair contract. Teachers and staff are the heart of this district. They are the ones who greet your children every morning, who notice when a child is struggling, who comfort them when they cry, who celebrate their victories big and small. They are the ones who stay late and plan and prepare so that every child gets the attention and support they need. And when budgets fall short, It is teachers and staff who quietly reach into their own wallets to make sure children have the supplies and resources they deserve. Something we should never have to do. They are the ones who sacrifice dinners, weekends, and family time to ensure your children get the very best. I know this firsthand. As a former special education teacher at VES, I had the privilege of teaching in a self-contained classroom, working with some of the children with the most significant needs in the district. In my time there, I saw not only my team's dedication, but the unwavering commitment of all of my colleagues. Teachers and staff who gave everything they had to every child, every single day. The success of this district is built entirely on their shoulders. And yet, despite all of this, you have failed to meet your responsibility. Teachers and staff continue to carry this district while you stall, delay, and avoid action. That is unacceptable. Enough excuses, enough delays. Settle this contract now. If you continue to refuse, then stop pretending you value teachers, stop pretending you value your children, and stop pretending you value this community. Because your actions prove you don't. Thank you.
Any other items from the public?
If there are any other people that are going to make comments, you can actually start lining up and start putting your name in the Chromebook.
Well, my name is Craig Bushka. I teach physics at Montgomery High School. Just like to respond to some comments that I think were made about concerns about the quality of instruction that we're offering in math and science. I'd like to bring to the board attention that your high school educators offered filled to capacity workshops in New York City this summer in physics, biology, environmental science, and elementary school science. So even if figures at this table may not fully appreciate the work that your teachers do, at least other educators do. I'd also like to point out that I have not had dialogue about teaching and learning in my area with the Board of Education since January of 2021, when the then president of the board offered me a meeting. Although that meeting was not a positive meeting, it nevertheless occurred. I have not had occasion to engage in dialogue about teaching and learning with a member of central office since October of 2021. While it may be easy to wave a letter around from professors who are not familiar with this district, perhaps more productive dialogue could occur between you and the people in this room, and that would make the district's commitment to communication, which has been written in various emails, something that's actual and not simply performative.
Karen Anderson, Montgomery Township. A lot goes through my head. I'm trying to figure out where to start. this is a tough job, and you guys have questions, and you want to ask them. Some people are new to the process, they're not don't have teacher backgrounds, and if you just thought about what we just went through this week, and I don't know where you guys all sit, I don't care, but I'm going to jump to another topic. I wrote an article, I wrote a letter to the editor about Francine. I have a feeling she knows maybe who I am and possibly read it. But I crossed paths with her at ShopRite. And I saw a human being. I reached out to say hello and she acknowledged me back. I wrote something that I felt I needed to write because I think she's a good person. I think she's a smart person. I think she has a huge role in what she does as a lobbyist in her job, but I don't think it's suitable for her to be on the board. But I respect her, and I'm glad she's here, and I don't mean to get sappy, but I saw a human, okay? I hope she sees a human here too. What I heard in this audience tonight, you guys are our teachers. I'm shaking because I want to like you guys too, but I heard some words sitting next to you, and you were my daughter's teacher. And that's how you treat, because you didn't like what you heard up here. Did you not learn anything this past week? We have the right to speak and share what's on our minds. These are tough discussions, have them. Just because you're teachers, you know your processes and your things inside out, we have the right to ask. That's all I have to say. I just thank you for doing what you're doing. I know it's hard, and maybe we can all get better at this, please.
Any other comments from the public?
I'm sorry to come up again. Jen Riddell, APS&T president. I just want to point out, after that whole auditor conversation, we're definitely concerned again. You point out these errors and say that there's these big things that we should be overly concerned about. What we should be overly concerned about is possibly losing another BA. You talk about our turnover. We're really concerned about that. And I can't imagine now, after tonight, what could possibly happen. So I need us to all be reflective and careful about, you'd say it's not about trust, but you're in constant meetings in this LFF, ACI. We used to be in those meetings to help with the conversation. We got kicked out of those meetings. But we have just big concerns. The BA in that central office is so very important to all the work that we do, and the turnover has been something that no other district has seen that we have here in Montgomery. I also have two other colleagues here who have comments.
Oh. Can I pass it on?
He gets a fresh start.
Okay.
Like we did before.
Good evening. Last month's board meeting and again tonight was another concerning display of behaviors and decisions by some of our Board of Education members that could put our schools at risk. Without understanding the full implications of what you're voting on, you initially voted down all the curriculum and professional development that was on the agenda. It was only after pleading by multiple administrators that you reversed some of your decisions. It was stated by 3 board members that they would like to, moving forward, receive all of the details of all curricular and instructional changes made in the district to have them be board approved. In response to this, rationale was provided as to why the Board of Ed only approves new courses and major course revisions. This rationale was not accepted, and it was restated that the board should receive and approve all changes, no matter how small, even down to a pacing guide change, which outlines on which day a teacher may teach a certain topic. This is micromanagement to an extreme. If board members had to approve all of the decisions made on that level here in the school district, you would need to be full-time employees with a lifetime of experience in K-12 education, which is what this district already has with its faculty, staff, and administration. Requiring these details for your scrutiny as a condition of approval publicly demonstrates your mistrust of our expertise and shows an inappropriate desire to micromanage the administration of this district that is well beyond the purview of your role as Board of Education members, as outlined by the New Jersey School Boards Association's Code of Ethics. Your actions could prevent our instructional staff from being able to do their jobs. Just this past month, you made blanket decisions to vote down items that, had we administrators not argued with you to change, would have resulted in the following. Dozens of students' schedules being changed at MHS only days before classes began as a result of the AP seminar curriculum not being approved. Teachers not receiving legally required lifeguard certifications, shutting down our phys ed swim program and pool. Mental health and suicide prevention services being taken away from our most vulnerable students, who without these services could be in jeopardy. Language arts curriculum that is out of compliance with the NJDOE and does not deliver the required student learning standards. Loss of federal funds for professional development that was mandated by the state of New Jersey. And this was all after just one board meeting. Your belief that because you read some articles or inappropriately spoke to colleagues at Rutgers and Princeton University who did zero follow-up of their own or have any qualifications in K-12 education. Your constant demand for data that no matter what we provide is not enough, and your demonstrated lack of faith in what our team of educators in this nationally ranked school district believe is best for students. These things are preventing us from doing our jobs for what is best for our students, and they're putting the school district at risk. Thank you.
Principal of Montgomery High School, APSMT. Montgomery High School is in the top 2% of public schools in the nation. It's actually the top 1% of non-application public schools. We're a place families move to for excellence, stability, and integrity. Yet today, highly qualified candidates tell us they will not even apply here because of the toxic behavior of this board. Your public mistrust of our educators, your attempts to dismantle our curriculum, your desire to insert yourself into decisions that are beyond the purview of board members, and your constant undermining of our processes have got to stop. That should concern every single person in this room. There's a saying, the culture of an organization is shaped by the worst behavior that leadership is willing to tolerate. And right now, that poor behavior is happening at this board table. It's shaping a culture of hostility, instability, and mistrust. Sitting quietly in the face of this is not fair to our students. They deserve better. The New Jersey School Board Code of Ethics is clear. I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties. Yet this board has repeatedly done the opposite, rejecting curriculum that teachers spent months creating, blocking federally funded professional development, and challenging staff expertise in public. I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but see that they are well run. Yet this board has tried to micromanage curriculum down to the detail of daily pacing guides and overturn professional recommendations, like you almost did tonight with the Hope Squad. By the way, the data from 2018. This could have delayed instruction that our students are entitled to receive and the services they so desperately deserve. I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take private action that may compromise the board. Yet now, we have a current board member via an open community WhatsApp group instructing community members on who to vote for, basing that demand on race, asking that they actively support electing another Asian American board member, and are trying to convince members of our community that our curricular programming is subpar based on her unsubstantiated and erroneous personal beliefs. The board member intimates that by electing the favored board member and his running mates who are currently seated board members, she'll be able to restore learning opportunities that align with her philosophy and mindset. This is not only wholly inappropriate, but it carries serious racial and biased implications, and may be an outright ethics violation. I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interests or partisan political groups, yet narrow personal agendas are being advanced at the expense of our full student body. I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties, but yet regularly you publicly disregard the expertise of our educational professionals. This behavior is not only harming students today, it's damaging our future. It's driving talented educators away, discouraging new candidates from even considering Montgomery, and sending a message to our students that personal agendas and beliefs matter more than their education.
Ms. Pino, I'm sorry.
I have one more sentence. We've tried to collaborate. Your response was to remove us from committees. We've provided information transparently, only to be misrepresented and dismissed. That is not governance. It's obstruction. Montgomery deserves better, and we are here tonight to demand it.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Hearing and seeing none.
Can I do that after? I'll say my name.
You can just say your name and address.
Maria Kautzman, 139 Fairview Road, Skillman.
Thank you.
These people are all hired because they are well-educated educators. I'm a resident. My kids are old. I'm old. They're not here anymore. They did so well in the school district. Our kids, 95% go on to college because of these teachers, this administration. And it's not all of you that are the problem on this board. They keep saying the board. There are certain members that are so obstructionist and so unsupportive of these people who have been well vetted, have been hired because of their excellent credentials. And you just keep undermining them and saying, oh, they don't know what they're doing. That is so absurd. And I just wanted to say that. It's ridiculous. And also certain members who pick the nuclear option for your budget, and then they want to spend $30,000 more because they don't like the auditor. Where's that money going to come from when you voted down all the budget options? That's all I have to say.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, public comment portion of the meeting is now closed. Any closed items from the board?
I have a closed meeting discussion here. I want to continue to talk about that enrollment data. So, as we just talked about the decreasing of the enrollment data from this school district, and while we also talked about the neighboring district telling a different story, they're growing up or remaining steadily. And during my time on the board, so I've heard these examples include the nearby district offering Algebra 2 in grade 8, while all students who want that option must pay about $1,500 for the summer course to stay on the pace with college expectations. And also nearby district offer a dual enrollment in core subject, while our school district offer, I believe, is the pottery subject. So on the other school district offering learning opportunities, learning opportunities for biology in grade 8, but we don't. And the NCPAC group also shifted from parent-led to district-led, limiting family engagement. Some parents reported their children struggling to read and write at the grade level and have to get some help to catch up. So those are the examples that I've just been on the board and what I've heard, and I'm citing them here. And also, some have dismissed these issues as concerns of only a few students. I cannot define what counts as few, but more than 40 to 50 families signed that letter to the board. If that's a few, I think that's a matter of opinion. And others have said, and we just heard, higher education faculty don't understand how K-12 operates. As I've noted before, they don't need to. So what we need from them is a clear picture of their expectations for the incoming college freshmen. Because as we just also heard, most Montgomery graduates plan to pursue advanced degrees. And also I've heard comments such as, if a student aims for more selective universities, they should go to private school because public is not for everyone, and public serve the students who come to them, implying retention is not our responsibility. So those are just observations and facts, not conclusions about cause and effect. But I think it deserves that we ask, is there a link or correlation between these program gaps and our declining enrollment? Why we can't retain more students? Why we are the only district keep losing, the enrollment keeps going down. So last, I want to, of course, thank everyone. I recognize the majority has voted to approve the tonight's agenda. While I respect that outcome, I also want to acknowledge that tonight's split vote reflects different philosophies we hold about how this board should function. So for me, the core issue is not whether we should value professional development. We all agree that supporting our teachers and students is essential. The question is how we as a governing board ensure transparency, accountability, and data-informed decision-making. I believe our community deserves a board that operates with openness, clear evidence of impact, and a strong commitment to accountability. Even though we may not agree on particular decisions on agenda items, I know we all share a common goal, student success. And thank you to my board members, administration, and community for your time and effort for tonight's discussion.
Thank you. Any other items?
Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to highlight one other comment as being a lead on the negotiation committee. I just wanted to say that we recognize that the contract negotiations can be a complex and a different complex process, and different perspective are part of that process. I want to ensure the administration, that the board has made a strong effort to address the key priorities raised at the table, and we continue to be guided by our responsibility to balance those. I also wanted to highlight that the contract is in place, and that we're going to continue those negotiations going forward. So I appreciate all your feedback. Thank you.
Any other items? Hearing none, at this time I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor state aye. Aye. All those opposed, say right. Abstention. Thank you all for coming out. Get home safe.